thrush mufflers. What's going on, everybody? So this is kind of a more of a behind the scenes episode because I'm waiting on parts, and I got to work. So during the week, I have to try and make money, and then my toys are kind of saved for the weekends. But this thing's coming out super awesome. The engine's kind of what I'm working on right now. I'm waiting on parts for that, and you guys are going to love the things that we do to this motor. It's gonna make awesome power, some disappointment at the same time, but then some more awesomeness. Hold on one second. You might be wondering why I'm holding on to this thrush muffler right here. Well, this is gonna go on my Junkerup garage channel. I'm gonna put it up on there as a collector item from the channel, souvenir of the 74 Charger. So what I'm working on right now is actually a Hellcat powered 69 Super B. This engine right here is actually out of the General Mayhem. You'll recognize the nitrous system. Yep, this is the entire drivetrain out of, in fact, David Freiberger's General Mayhem from Roadkill. Same engine, same transmission. Of course, we did put, conversion headers on it. We no longer have the hackery headers that were on it. So it actually has correct headers to fit the body. But this is a pretty awesome build. But this is, you might be wondering, why have I not done an episode on this car? I did start filming a series on building this car. The problem with long-term cars like this is you start, you stop, you lose track of where you stopped filming, and then I don't know, I have to bounce around sometimes between cars, and it's just a pain to try and keep up with where I started, where I stopped, where I left off, and I don't know. And sometimes you just want to get stuff done and actually make progress, and so you don't really film everything. But I probably have like the first half of building this car, and I have a bunch of tidbit pictures and slight videos here and there on the build. But I don't know, if you guys would be interested, would you like to see this body right here? It was plucked from a junkyard in Utah, and then I did metal work to it, did all the fab work on the trans tunnel, the floors. I mean, there's actually some pretty cool stuff, just to show you. This right here is the Hellcat shifter. It's an automatic shifter. But what I had done is I had taken the shifter itself, modified it, and then I had taken an original 69 ball and modified that to where this is functional. And so that way, when we have, where is it at? Okay, there's the console pieces there. I made it to where the factory console goes in here, and that shifter looks factory coming through that console. Same thing, I don't like those electronic pedals, they're hideous. So what I had done is I'd taken the electric throttle pedal here, modified it, put the factory looking roller wheel on it, and so then now it uses the factory, the original Mopar, or the original 1969 Super B throttle pedal, and just pushes on that like it would have done originally. So I've done a lot of little tidbit things like that, So I've been, like, I spent this week doing a bunch of plumbing and things. Like, I made these AC lines so that way you don't see them all over the hood or on top of the engine, because I don't know, plumbing on top of the engine looks hideous. And so I got new fittings and made lines that went through the core support, and they're all fitted. I'm gonna paint them black, but that took time to do all that. And I made this core support. I made the factory Hellcat radiator fit the core support. I made all the mounts, everything to mount all the factory Hellcat stuff. there was a lot of work, a lot of customization that went into that. And actually, I'll show you right now what I'm doing is, so those are the factory Hellcat plastic tanks right there. Aren't those things just bleh, hideous? Just, you know, when you pop the hood on a 69 Super B, it's kind of cool to see the Hellcat, but not really cool to see everything that comes with it. Like, all the wiring just, bleh, you know, and those plastic tanks, you know, yuck. So, and then that's the factory Hellcat radiator, just, you know, it's just ugly. So, I have right here a cold case radiator. It's invisible, super lightweight. But, or it could be a radiator that I had destroyed and sent a fan through it, and I cut it and modified it so I can use it for something. Whichever one you want to believe. This, I'm going to weld up the bottom, put that right there, get rid of that hideous thing. This is now going to be my functional fill and overflow tank. So it hides that hideous radiator, and so it'll come right out of here and it'll go down into the factory lower hose. And so this will be functional. It'll hold the radiator cap, it'll be the expansion tank and the fill. But even though it is an original Hellcat radiator, this will hide all that and be so much cooler looking, right? So just a lot of little things like that. You know, I plumbed all the brake lines. I made all the brake lines for this thing. It's got a Dana 60 in it. I've got to modify that. So this is the original dash. Actually, this is not the original dash because this car was just a 318 car. And so it had the standard dash in it. Well, we're wanting to make a cool Super B. So this is a rally dash out of a 68 Charger that I had parted out years ago. And I know you're thinking, how dare you part out a 68 Charger? Well, this was like, I want to say 8 years ago, and the car was garbage. Like literally the only thing salvageable from this car was the roof structure. And I kept it. I cut the roof off. I pulled everything off of that car that was salvageable. And then we took the rest to scrap. It happens. The car was literally junk. Like that car could have been rebuilt. It can be rebuilt because I still have the original roof, but literally everything below the roof, garbage. Dash frame was good. So, like I said, this is a huge project that I've undergone. You'll notice, sometimes talking on the fly, sometimes I can't even remember the name of a tool. Like the screwdriver, I'll be like, give me that long, pointy, handheld looking thing. You know, it makes me sound like an idiot. I just, you know, brain doesn't function correctly on tool names sometimes. But we got disc brakes on it. We got QA1 upper control arms. You know, I had restored all the suspension, sandblasted, powder coated. I actually painted the lower control arms. You know, I mounted that's where the pump is at. It's just so many things. Like I have, dirt, dust everywhere. I've done so many custom things to this car that it's all little things that would take forever to point out, you know. And actually, here's another cool one. Let me show you this. So this is where the battery would normally be on an original 69 Super B. Well, wouldn't it be kind of hideous if you just had this giant freaking cone air cleaner sitting right there? It just would not look right, right? And so, you notice I cut out my core support here. So that way it gets ram air cold for dun 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 dun. This is my Airbox. I made this. So I wanted it to look like a battery box. So I made this whole thing. You know, the air cleaner goes inside there and it has a back cover that goes on this. sits right here. Hard to do this one-handed. Sits right there, and see, now I had to make this slightly oversized from what an original battery would be because it's housing a 700 horsepower air cleaner. So, and I made an extension piece that comes off the back and makes it a little bit deeper so the nose cone actually comes into here, but it's still a sealed unit, so it's not sucking air from dirty wheel well. All the air is being drawn in right there. So just another thing I've done to this car, and I can pull the lid. So once that's all in there, but doesn't this tank, this fake battery box, and then this will be gone, but I don't know, doesn't it just look so much better under the hood? So just a bunch of little things like that I've done just to make the car, I don't know, cooler, you know. And I had to make that whole trans tunnel because, you know, these Hellcat transmissions are ginormous, and so I had to make that entire trans tunnel. It's all bead rolled and, you know, cool looking. But this whole car it's lizard skinned underneath, and then it's ceramic lizard skinned inside. So it has the sound deadening underneath, and then it has the brain fart. See, the heat barrier, so the ceramic heat barrier inside. Lots and lots of custom work, and I'm still working on it. So, you know, this is what takes up my time during the week, is building cool stuff, but expensive cool stuff. And I just got an entire pipes exhaust system for this car that I got to make work, and, you know, really grateful that Pipes has hooked us up with that. So this Hellcat breathing through that 3-inch Pipes exhaust system is going to sound amazing. You know, it'll have an X pipe, all that. It's going to sound wicked. You know, it has vintage air in it, so it's got AC. You know, this is going to be a super comfortable daily driver 10-second car in a 69 Super B. So this thing is going to be awesome. Do I wish it was mine? Yeah. I can't afford something like this. I have to build it for the people that can. But yeah, just one of the projects I'm taking on, and this is my project. So my 74 Dodge Charger engine, you guys are going to love this engine build. It's going to be awesome, I promise. But yeah, if you guys want me to kind of go backwards and show a video on this car, I have a bunch of footage that I have starting building this thing. So I don't know, just let me know in the comments if you want to see something like this, or if you just want to stick to the junkyard cool backyard stuff, you know, the stuff that I can afford to build. Maybe one day I'll be rich and famous, and then I can pay someone like me to build my stuff. So here's some more background right now. Is the General Lee. It's broken. I broke it. I didn't blow it up or anything, but let me fill you in. So when I originally built the engine for that car, not trying to sound like a super broke ass, but at the time I was putting the engine together for that thing, the engine had kind of low miles on it when I got the short block from a buddy. And so I just left the rings that were in it. And I was like, well, it's like $100 and something for the rings. I'm like, he said it had low miles on it, so I just left the rings that are in it. And well, the thing used a lot of oil. It leaked out the rear main seal, which I've tried putting 2 seals in it. Between burning oil and leaking rear seal oil, I was pulling the trailer. Yes, my General Lee is my tow pig. So I was pulling the trailer, and the leak, I lost 3rd gear, and I lost 1st gear, and I lost neutral, and I lost park, and I lost reverse. I literally only had 2nd gear. So I drove 300 and something miles in 2nd gear, and I ran out of oil twice. And so it got a little bit of a rod knock. So I got to pull the motor out, fix that. That's why this is parked. I really want to get my freaking dirt car out and go race it, but it's just so expensive between tires and fuel and everything. But I love dirt racing. That's like my passion is circle track racing, and I had this thing wrapped to look like my patina charger right there. So, you know, it's even got the 69 charger tail panel. It's got, you know, it has the door handle. This is all a picture taken off of my charger, and we wrapped my modified. I've got Steve Dulcich's 68 RT Pilot off of his charger, you know, so I need to get this thing back on the track. I'm hoping I can go out and go racing here in the next couple weeks. I really want to get out there and be sideways and sling mud. This, I'm waiting on doing the body swap. I got a 69 charger I'm going to put on top of this. Patina, it's still broken. I you know, chucked the drive shaft out of it, so I'm still waiting on a drive shaft for it. But this thing has turned into a pretty cool deal. I had the headers blasted for this car. I need to cut the tubes and kind of fix some of the tubes on it, but these are not powder coated, they just kind of heated them. I'm going to have white headers. I want white headers on this thing. We're going to paint the engine B5 blue with some chrome accessories, and then have white headers. It's going to be awesome. Just totally cool looking. I scored these bitchin' 10-inch Krager slots, so those are going to look cool on this thing. And my windshield, AMD sponsored me a windshield. How cool is that? Thank you, AMD. I really, here we go, right here. See, this is, I work under a tent, so I always have to keep adjusting my sponsored deals. But the cold case, actually, yeah, it's gonna get a cold case radiator. It has a Howard's camshaft. Sorry, Howard, I have to come out here and adjust this. But again, really appreciate everybody that helps out on this channel. You know, not only does it help me get things going, but it actually kind of makes better content, I think, for you guys too, because it shows I don't promote stuff unless I know it freaking works. Because I don't want to come up on this channel and say, oh yeah, this radiator works awesome, you guys are gonna love this thing, go buy this thing, and then in reality it doesn't, and I have to rip it out, put something else in. But I stand behind cold case. I have, all my cars are 550 plus horsepower chargers and other, you know, whatever, and a truck, and 120 degree heat with AC, they're good. You guys might be thinking, oh, how can you be poor and have chargers? A lot of these cars I had gotten through wheeler deals, horse trading, traded stuff, you know, to just outright go out and buy a $50,000 charger. That's not me. Never was. Oh, I did inherit some money at one point, and so I bought a few cars. But that got swallowed up really quick, and then you end up having to sell them down the road because you got to pay for things. But anyways, that's a whole different deal. I'm really kind of falling in love with this 74 charger here, and I have a grudge match with Pole Barn Garage. Gonna kick his ass. So he's a good dude. I just like messing with him. All right, well, let me know what you guys think in the comments. You know, and again, this was another project I was building for a guy. Not my car, but see, I had traded. This is another trade deal. This guy traded me 2 chargers to do the metal and paint on his car. So, you know, that's how and so for you guys, maybe you can do your own backyard deals like that too. So anyways, I got to get back to the daily grind. The bee. Come on, Bolt. You don't work for free either. See you guys later. And don't forget, check out Junkerup Garage. There's all kinds of cool stuff on there. I'm going to throw these thrush mufflers on there. You know, yes, I know you're thinking, why the hell would I want those? But actually, they're pretty rare. And they're actually pretty cool. And they're a straight through design muffler. Plus, how cool will it be if you can say, I got thrush mufflers? Just kidding. All right, guys, I got to get to doing some things so I can afford to do things later. Peace out.